Hello, everyone. Thank you for signing on to today's Amtrak Vacations presentation on round trip rail vacations and everything you need to know about what's going on. Coming up on your screen now, there's a photo of me, your host, Business Development Executive Jarrett Kettinger. Now, I recognize by my picture, I do look a little young or youthful, but believe it or not, I've actually been with Amtrak Vacations for going on 7 years now. And so if any of you folks have any questions at all, don't hesitate to type your questions into the questions box on the side of the GoToWebinar panel. I'll answer any and all questions at the end of the presentation today. Additionally, during the presentation, I like to be very interactive and chat with the folks that are on. And so I may be asking you some questions as we continue along about what your observations are, or if you have any past knowledge about Amtrak or Amtrak Vacations, or even some other questions. So don't hesitate to answer my questions to you by typing your answers into the questions box on the side of the GoToWebinar panel. Popping up onto your screen now is a friendly reminder. We have a free downloadable handout on the side of the GoToWebinar panel under the Handouts tab that is talking about our maximum flexibility given the current situation that all of us are in. Amtrak Vacations is trying to be flexible, user-friendly for you folks, and so feel free to download it to see about some of our flexibility guidelines. And just to reiterate, here we have the formal slide for maximum flexibility. Any new or existing reservations can change their travel dates or cancel their rail vacation up to 5 days prior to departure without incurring any change or cancellation fees. Now, as this says, it dictates that it's bookable by April 30th. As things progress, if we need to extend out the April 30th date to go later, we will, no problem. Coming up now is the Amtrak Vacations Systems Map. Everywhere on the map, you folks are seeing a colorful line. That's a route that Amtrak travels on. Everywhere you're seeing a dark blue or navy blue dot is a destination where we incorporate the vacation packages, i.e. the hotels, the sightseeing, the attractions, all bundled together like a one-stop shop along with your rail travel experience. Also, as you can see, we cross the border up into Canada. We cross the border up into Montreal, Niagara Falls, Toronto, and Vancouver, and we can do cross-Canada via rail packages as well. Now, as I said just a minute ago, I like to keep our presentations interactive. So again, when I ask you these questions, feel free to type in your answers into the questions box on the side of the GoToWebinar panel. Let's test this out now. Did any of you folks know previous to this presentation that Amtrak Vacations can book into Canada travel? And you can answer that simply with a yes or a no. So let's get this off great. Okay, already some yeses coming in, some nos. Okay, I'm seeing about a 50-50 yes to no ratio, which is good because for those of you who were not aware, this is a great education point. Now you know that we can, in fact, go up into Canada and send you up into Canada, whether it's traveling all the way cross country, going up into Eastern Canada, and up into the Canadian Rockies. And I want to first give a big shout out to all of you because we've got a great participation so far. You're already off the bat energized into the presentation. We're going to keep this going, folks. Now, what makes Amtrak Vacations different? Well, there's 6 key reasons. Number 1 is that we're a bucket list experience. I can't tell you how many of our past travelers said that the number 1 reason they went with us in the first place was that it was a key opportunity to check an item off of their bucket list. Now, I'm going to ask another question. And for this question, you can, for the large part, just take the train equation out of it. Don't think necessarily about where the train goes. You can. There's no wrong answer. But do any of you have a travel bucket list? And if so, what are some destinations on that travel bucket list that you would like to visit? Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a train itinerary or a train vacation. Anywhere in the world, the United States, Canada, Europe, all around the world, where would you like to go? I love hearing the answers here. Let's see. I see Yellowstone, big park, Alaska, national parks, Sedona, Arizona, and Quebec, Canada, transcontinental in Canada, more national parks, Washington, D.C., love Washington, Niagara Falls, that's excellent. This is awesome. We're getting any international destinations that you would like to go to. Again, doesn't necessarily have to be by train. Anywhere in the world beyond the U.S. and Canada that you would like to go to. More for Canada. There's no wrong answer there. Quebec, more for Quebec City. I love Quebec City. Nice historical French, very European feeling, but still here in the U.S. Excellent. Cross country USA, Germany, Victoria. Victoria is big. That's very popular. Mexico. Okay. I am loving these answers. Thank you, folks. Now, freedom and flexibility. We can customize or tailor make any of our itineraries to fit your particular travel needs and requests. And I'll elaborate on that in a moment. Hassle free. Hassle free because all you have to do to book is give us a call at 1-800-268-7252. You can see the phone number at the bottom of the screen. We are the official tour operator for Amtrak, which is basically a fancy way of saying we are their national vacation partner. City to city service. Again, let's be interactive because Amtrak can go from downtown city to downtown city all throughout the USA and Canada. Take a guess. How many different stations in the United States and Canada do you think Amtrak travels through? Does anybody want to hasten a guess at it? All right, 150, 200, more 200, 300, 30, 500. Someone shooting big for 4,000. So whoever said 500 is on the nose. Amtrak travels through 500 plus destinations throughout the USA and Canada. Over 500. And then we have a little something for everyone guaranteed on the trip. Whether you are a senior traveler, retired, relaxing and enjoying the long distance railroad, or a student that's always wanted to go to a certain city or destination they've been to, or a family with some young kids, parents with the kids going to a national park that is fun for the whole family. We have a little something for everyone. Now, what does customize mean? That's a big word. Let me elaborate on what we say when Amtrak Vacations says we can customize our trips. So let's hypothetically take the Rails to the Grand Canyon itinerary, which does 2 overnights on board the train known as the Southwest Chief. You can see the train in the picture there in the left hand of the slide. That train goes overnight from Los Angeles, California, down to historic Route 66, Williams, Arizona. And then upon arriving in Williams, after the overnight on the Amtrak, you take the Grand Canyon Railway train from Williams through the desert and Ponderosa Forest into the South Rim of the canyon for a 2-night stay at the South Rim Grand Canyon Village and sightseeing opportunity. After that's over, you take the Grand Canyon Railway train back from the South Rim to Williams, and then the Amtrak Southwest Chief overnight to Los Angeles. Now imagine you love the itinerary, you're really interested in it, but you want to extend your stay. So you want to do 3 nights at the South Rim of the Grand Canyon instead of 2. No problem. We can customize the trip so we can add that 3rd night as long as it's available. And not only do you want to add that 3rd night, but you also want to upgrade to the historic El Tovar Lodge that sits on the ledge of the canyon. Again, as long as we are finding availability for it for the dates of travel, we can add the extra night and upgrade you. And then one last hypothetical. You love the itinerary. You love that we've added nights, upgraded the hotel stay, but you also want to add a stay in Los Angeles at the end of the trip because you're starting in there. So we might take the Los Angeles getaway, which includes 2 nights hotel accommodations in downtown Los Angeles with a sightseeing tour, and add it to the package. So we would have taken the original Rails to the Grand Canyon itinerary, added an additional night to up to 3 nights from up the hotel to the El Tovar, and then added a whole different separate itinerary, the Los Angeles getaway, to the package, creating your own customized vacation. Do you understand now what I mean when we say we can customize our trips? Does that make sense to you? Awesome. Yes is coming through. So that is a very good thing. I always like, especially with this slide, because there's a lot into it. But when we say we can make your travel your own and we can customize it, we can. Now, popular questions. What are some popular questions we get? How far in advance can packages be booked? 24 months out, up to 2 years out. We can book up to 2 years in advance, which I know for a lot of people, you're now looking maybe to travel within the next couple of weeks for obvious reasons, but maybe you want to travel out in July, August, September, October. Maybe you're looking at holiday travel around Thanksgiving or Christmas, or maybe you're looking at the spring of next year. We can book all of it. It's all possible. Who has access to the observation car? That's the dome car with the windows that go all the way up to the roof of the train car. Everyone has access. No one's barred from it. However, if you book into a sleeper compartment on the train, either a roomette or a bedroom, and I will show what those look like momentarily, if you book a sleeper compartment, you get priority boarding onto the train ahead of everyone else. That means you can get on the train ahead of the general admission, drop your luggage in the compartments or already have it checked, and then speed down and grab some seating in the big window dome car before the general admission onto the train. Kind of a nice perk, and definitely why you would want to book a sleeper compartment. Next up, let's talk about the round trip destinations. Now, when we say round trip, pretty simple, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, it means you're going to a destination and back from a certain point, such as Chicago and Chicago Union Station, which is the hub of Amtrak. And in this particular case, the Glacier National Park getaway round trip from Chicago. Now, I don't know if anyone knew this, but Glacier National Park is Amtrak Vacations' top selling destination. Was anybody aware of that prior to this presentation? Yes or no? All right, this time it's mostly no's, which is not surprising for any of you first-time listeners to the presentation or might not have known that, which is fine. That's again why we do the presentation. The reason why Glacier National Park is our top selling destination is the train, the Empire Builder, which regularly ranks in as the 3rd most scenic rail route on the Amtrak system, in which you can see you'll be doing round trip here. And to make things simple for you, on any map that you're seeing on a presentation for Amtrak Vacations, wherever you see a bubble with a number in it, that's the amount of time or nights you're staying at the destination. So the number of nights at the hotel or the lodge. And everywhere you're seeing a red arrow with a number in it, that's the amount of overnights on board the train. Pretty straightforward. So this includes 2 nights round trip up to Glacier on the Empire Builder, and then heading up into Glacier Park for a 3-night stay. Now, while staying in Glacier, we include the Big Sky Circle Tour, which is done on those historic red buses that were built back in the 1930s. They're still in use today. And you'll travel all throughout the park, going to the Sun Road, down St. Mary Valley, going to see all the wildlife, the flora, the fauna. And I love this picture of Glacier because it really captures what the true beauty of the park is. You see the great snow-capped mountains in the background, a little bit more in the forefront at the base of the mountain, one of the pristine, beautiful lakes, and then the big fields of flowers and grass and trees in the background that just make the park so amazing. So you'll spend 3 nights in Glacier. You'll have the Big Sky Circle tour. You'll have a guided tour on a boat of Two Medicine Valley boat cruise. And what's really nice is that I really like is that off that boat cruise, you could actually include a free, no cost to you, ranger-led hike of the park. So, and it's not a difficult hike either. The National Park Ranger, he's leading you. It does not cost you a dime. You can actually choose the day of whether you want to do it or not. And we also include dinner at the Glacier Park Lodge. Next up, we have Charleston and Savannah round trip from Washington, D.C. I have a particular love of Charleston. It is one of my favorite cities in the United States. Has anybody here ever been to Charleston or Savannah before? Yes or no? All right, in this case, we're mostly seeing those. Well, both cities have their unique aspect to them. Number one, fun fact, and we kind of just passed it, but Savannah, surprisingly, out of all the places in the United States, has the biggest St. Patrick's Day celebration of anywhere. And when we normally think of St. Patrick's Day, you normally think of my hometown of Boston or Chicago, where they make the riverfront green. Believe it or not, it's Savannah that has the biggest St. Patrick's Day celebration in the United States. And then Charleston is absolutely incredible. It's pristine. It is great in terms of history with the old antebellum style houses. There's a beautiful waterfront called the Battery, which you can walk, bike, stroll along. It's an absolutely incredible city. I've fallen in love with both Charleston and Savannah. Do have to say Charleston is one of my more favorite cities, but you can't go wrong with either of them. And we include sightseeing city tours in both Charleston and Savannah, so fully guided tours of those destinations. A sightseeing tour of the Magnolia Plantation, which is outside of Charleston. And the plantation itself, the plantation house is beautiful. It's ginormous. There's a ton of flowers everywhere. And then we also include a sightseeing cruise in Savannah and dinner at the Swamp Fox restaurant in Charleston as well. And I've been told if you're there and you do like seafood, the shrimp and grits, or the seafood, the fish from the area is all delicious. So something to consider. Then we have the Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon. This is noteworthy for 3 distinct reasons. Number one, it hits 3 of America's most popular parks on one trip alone. As you can see by the title, Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon all included. 2, it hits 3 of the top 5 most scenic railroads on the Amtrak system. First, the California Zephyr, running through the heart of the country, through the Colorado Rocky Mountains, and then out into San Francisco. So that's the California Zephyr, regularly ranks number 1. Number 2 is the Coast Starlight, running from San Francisco down from Northern California, down along the Pacific coastline and into Los Angeles. And then the Southwest Chief, which regularly ranks number 4 on the most scenic railroads, running from Los Angeles through the Grand Canyon area in Williams, Arizona, and then up into Chicago. And then the third distinct reason is that it hits 3 major and 3 very different U.S. cities, Salt Lake City, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, all on one itinerary. Pretty straightforward. Now, it's worth noting that you will get to stay out in Yellowstone as well as in the Grand Canyon, and then you will have a full day tour to Yosemite by way of San Francisco. Yellowstone in particular is near and dear to my heart. It's the first ever established national park. I don't know if you folks knew this, but it is above a supervolcano, which has created all these incredible geothermal features in the park, such as the Grand Prismatic Spring, as you can see in the picture here, with its beautiful hues of blue, green, yellow, orange. And it's important to note because you are guaranteed to see Old Faithful geyser erupt at least once on your trip. We guarantee it. Now, packing for the train. Simple. You can bring 2 carry-ons of up to 50 pounds each and 2 check bags of up to 50 pounds each, and that's per person, and that's completely free. Additionally, you can check your bags up to 45 minutes ahead of time, and that's actually when we suggest getting to the station. We suggest getting to the station 45 minutes to an hour ahead of time. It's not like the airlines where you have to get to the airports an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours if you're going international. You can get to the station 45 minutes to an hour ahead of time and still comfortably board the train. Next up, we have the coach accommodations, which I hope you folks can see by the picture. Plenty of legroom. That's one of the key features. That and the big picture window that you can look out of. Amtrak doesn't care whether you are in a coach accommodation or the top of the line sleeper. Everybody at Amtrak wants everybody traveling on Amtrak to be able to see the country from the window of the train. So the big picture window is a standard. Now the seats themselves recline at a 45-degree angle with a leg rest that will kick up, a tray table that will fold down for laptops, drinks, snacks, etc. Outlets to charge devices in, which is pretty important nowadays. Plenty of room above head for luggage, big comfy chair, and again, gotta hype it up, the plenty of leg room. The next step up is the sleeper roomette, which is it's a cabin on the train. It's kind of the mid-range cabin with a door that'll shut and lock from the inside, blinds that will go over the windows for privacy, 2 big plush seats facing each other, and the big picture window to enjoy the sights out of. Now, you're probably looking at this and saying, I see the diagram, it folds down in the evening, but I don't see a bathroom in the cabin. That is true. The roomette's bathrooms are down the hall. There's 3 to 4 bathrooms to every roomette car, and it's worth noting that only those that are actually booked to stay in that roomette car have access to those bathrooms. However, if you want your own private bathroom and shower accommodations in the room itself, the next step up is the sleeper bedroom, which is the bigger cabin on the train. It has a long couch, a big captain's chair, a big picture window as the standard. Everything still folds down for bunk style sleeping, but it has its own private bathroom and shower accommodations in the room itself. Dining on the train is a special commodity because all the meals are factored into the pricing of the cabins. And you can see where the value is in that because if, say, you're on the Grand National Parks, which includes multiple nights going from Chicago overnight to Salt Lake City overnight to San Francisco, and then going down from Los Angeles overnight to Williams and Williams overnight to Chicago, you can imagine how many times you might have to open up your purse or your wallet and pay out in a normal case. But in this case, if you booked a sleeper compartment, your meals are already factored in. And the meals are wonderful. That's one of the highlights on the train because we like to refer to the dining car as our rolling restaurant with a full menu of options to choose from for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're fresh cooked to order. There's a head chef on the train, and there's multiple options. And if you have any dietary restrictions, I usually get questions about that. It is not a problem. You just need to let the dining car attendant know when you go down from your meals, and they will accommodate all of the above. Now, a reminder of our flexible booking policy. New reservations can change their travel dates or cancel their rail vacation up to 5 days prior to departure. And there's a reason why we've underlined this without incurring any change or cancellation fee. Similarly, existing reservations can be rescheduled up to 5 days prior to departure date without incurring any change or cancellation fee. Simple as that. Everyday discounts. Children aged between 2 years old to 12 years old receive a 50% discount off the base rail ticket fare. Similarly, seniors and active military, spouses and dependents of the active military will also receive a 10% discount off the base rail ticket fare. Now, do we have any veterans here on the presentation today? Yes or no? Feel free to type yes or no into the questions box on the side of the GoToWebinar panel. Yes, I see yes, Air Force, yes, Army. For anyone who said yes but not put in what branch, I'd love to hear what branch you're representing today. So far, we have some Air Force and some Army on here. Navy, okay. I want to say thank you. Oh, more Navy, excellent. I want to say thank you for your service and just let you know that going forward since January 1st, Amtrak Vacations and Amtrak has spread their 10% active military discount to all veterans as well. So if you are a veteran, you served, and you want your 10% discount, then you can get that simply by saying, hey, I'm a veteran, I served in this branch of the military, blah, 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 you're done. However, I will say this, you cannot combine the senior and the veteran to get 20%. You have to do one or the other. I usually get that question. One more reminder about the downloadable handout on the side of the GoToWebinar panel under the Handouts tab for maximum flexibility. And for anyone who has not answered my questions yet, what rail vacation or destination within the United States or Canada are you interested in? Maybe you even answered earlier in the presentation, but want to reiterate where you would like to go. Feel free to type that in as well. And I am going to start answering some of your questions. Let's see. Give me a second, folks. So someone is asking, can you use Amtrak points? So if you're an Amtrak guest rewards member, which is basically like being an airline rewards member, JetBlue or American Airlines or whatever, where you have a number and you put it on a reservation and it helps you accrue points. Amtrak has that too. You can use it to accrue points or earn points on an Amtrak vacation trip by simply telling whoever you're working with at Amtrak Vacations that you are an Amtrak Rewards member and this is your number. We, however, cannot use those points to pay for a trip. So again, if you book a trip with us, you're an Amtrak Guest Rewards member, you want to help earn points, we can put your number on your reservation and you'll help earn the points, but you can't use them at this point to pay for a trip. Simple as that. Let's see. So someone was saying when I mentioned that I was talking about meals being included on the train and whatnot, but previously from that we were talking about the national park itinerary that did Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon. And there seems to be a little confusion, so let me go over that. The itineraries that you see are based in traveling in coach accommodations. So everywhere you saw a route on the map in which you were traveling on board a train, the pricing that you were seeing reflected on the slide was based in coach fare pricing. However, if you do upgrade to a sleeper compartment, which we can do, we can always upgrade you. If the pricing wasn't already there, it would be new pricing. You would have to discuss that with your Amtrak Vacations representative. But once you upgrade to a sleeper compartment at whatever pricing it is, all your meals at that point become factored into the cost of the trip. Now, I think there's a little bit of confusion because there was on the slide for the Grand National Parks, the Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon trip, where it mentioned certain meals were included. On certain itineraries, we might include a breakfast here or a dinner there at certain popular restaurants or well-known places in certain destinations. So in some cases, you might see some meals included. That would be a one-off dinner or a one-off breakfast at an iconic restaurant in the area. In the case of the Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon, that includes one dinner at the Roof Restaurant in Salt Lake City, one breakfast at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel, and one dinner at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. And I see some people are saying, hey, I want to go to Niagara Falls. I want to do Orlando, Florida on the auto train. I can tell you multiple folks at our company have done it and are very happy with it. People that want to go to New Orleans, Canada, Alaska. Someone saying the 3-park trip looks great. Can we get a catalog? You can order an online brochure on our website or giving us a call at 1-800-268-7252. Someone's asking about certain memberships, if you're AARP or say a AAA. For those specific membership benefits, I would give a call to 1-800-268-7252 and chat, because each different membership club or organization has different benefits. So I won't go over all of them on the presentation. Just give us a call at 1-800-268-7252 and a representative will go over that with you. So someone's asking, how many seats are in the observation car? Are they usually taken up by the sleeper compartment passengers? So I never really took the time to go and count every single seat in an observation car. I apologize. When I'm traveling on the train, I enjoy the observation car, but I'm not kind of walking around the train car itself and just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I will say is not everyone in the observation car is necessarily a sleeper compartment passenger. Everybody has access to the car. People don't always just sit in the glass car and just don't move anywhere, don't go anywhere. People get up, go to meals, they go back to their sleeper compartment, they go back to their seats, they go down the cafe car, they go to the dining car, et cetera, et cetera. And so there usually is at some points open space in the observation car. What I do always suggest, though, is if you're traveling on a trip that's 8 or more hours long, either during the day or overnight, I always suggest getting a sleeper compartment because the value is there. You get priority boarding onto the train. You have access to the lounges at the large stations such as Chicago Union Station, Los Angeles Union Station, Boston South Station, New York, Washington, D.C. So there are major stations with places, lounges to be prior to boarding the train. You have free access there. You have your meals included. You have more comfort because you have a cabin that's all your own, and you have a place to sleep if you're traveling overnight. And so one of the benefits is the priority boarding onto the train and grabbing some seats in the observation car. So I'm a little just trying to figure out this question. In terms of, someone's asking me about a flexible dining train. What type of services, flexible dining? I'll think I kind of understand. So I'll just go over. So again, all the meals are factored in when you have a sleeper compartment. Now, there have been some changes recently where I'm wondering if this is where the question is coming from, where the certain trains have had the dining car removed, but there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of fake, not going to use that term, fake information out there in terms of what's going on about it, because a lot of people got nervous when it happened. So basically, this is what happened. On the Superliner trains, all of the long distance trains that run from Chicago west, which the majority of our travel, about 68% of our travel is on the long distance trains, because people are going out to the sightseeing areas, they're going out to the national parks, they're going west, they're going through the mountains, they're going through the lakes, they're going through the desert, etc. All those trains, the dining car is fine. It's remained. There's no change to it. On the eastern seaboard, the Viewliner trains, which are the single level trains, which are everything Midwest East, the dining car was removed. However, the same exact day the dining car was removed, brand new state of the art lounge cars were replaced onto those trains, brand new ones, straight off the line, and they serve dining services with a full brand new menu, such as options for chicken parmesan, braised short rib, tacos, kind of the more fun, exciting, flexible meals. But only those staying in the roomette and bedroom car have access to those lounge cars. Now, on the Superliner trains, the trains that have the dining car, if you're traveling in coach, you can make a reservation as long as reservations are available in the dining car and go and purchase the meals out of pocket. In the Viewliners, you cannot. However, there is a cafe car on both the Viewliner and Superliner. So I hope I answered the question there. It was a lot of information all at once I threw at you, but yeah. So there's that. Someone's asking, does Amtrak go to San Antonio? They want to visit the Alamo. Absolutely, we do. And I would definitely suggest doing it by way of train. And I highly suggest doing it. I would love to myself. I haven't been to San Antonio, but it's high on my list. We have a lot of great Texas travel packages. So feel free, multiple travel destinations in Texas, San Antonio getaways, what have you. So does the sleeper car allow for 3 meals a day? Yes and no. If you're traveling on board the train during a time period in which breakfast, lunch, and dinner is occurring, yes. If you're traveling on the train during a period where you're only on for lunch and dinner and you get off before breakfast the next day, then the breakfast would be out on your own once you get off the train. Simple as that. All right, it looks like that was the last question to answer today. So I want to say thank you to you folks. Thank you for signing on to the presentation, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.